Welcome to the Shikama Live Show with your host, Shikama. Sorry. So today we're discussing the levels of independence in a man. So I will go over the different levels, and you determine what level of independence you as a man have right now. Just so you know, I am the top level of independence. So the entire list is going to be in referencing the movie The Matrix. So I figured this is an easy way to understand everything because a lot of people saw the movie The Matrix, the original one, not the ones afterwards. Let me first say that this is the Black History Month, February. And let me first say that it is not a happy Black History Month. It's not a holiday. It's not a jubilation. It's not a celebration. What you're supposed to be doing is learning about Black history. Why was it important to even have such a thing? It's because the achievements and of Black people, period, African or American or the entire African diaspora worldwide has been downgraded to the point where people say, "Oh, Africans never contributed anything. Africans never did anything. Black Americans never did anything. Never did anything." So this month is supposed to be you're supposed to be learning about Black history. Let me say this: as far as achievements and inventions go, and if you know anything about inventions, I'm going to make this statement, and you can research it as much as you want to. I have made some Black history-ish type of thing, and apparently the YouTube computer is sending that out to people. Uh, no invention of anything that we touch today has not been touched by a Black person, a Black inventor. If you know how an invention is, for instance, let's say you have a pill bottle. A Black person made improvements on the bottle cap. So no invention has not been touched. Either a Black person invented it completely, or it was improved by a Black person. Now, for those people who don't understand that statement, uh, a lot of inventions now, quote unquote inventions now, are simple improvements. Some of them might have drastic effects. Some of them might not. You might not even notice that something has happened. Like, say for instance, batteries. Uh, Maybe you don't notice that the battery lasts 30% longer, huh? And then a lot of times, a lot of the information about Black inventions or a Black person who invented it, was completely lost because the Black person could not patent anything up until very recent history. So the whole idea, and a lot of the history that says this is the father of English, this is the father of physics, this is the father of astronomy, when in fact that is not the case. The person actually went to Africa and got the information and then came back to Europe and told the people what he had learned, and they proclaimed him, which growing up as I did, who lived overseas and actually learned about actual history from actual people, and who teachers who actually told me this is where the person got it from. I was never under the mythos that uh, Copernicus, Einstein or Euclid. I was never under any sort of idea that those men came up with that idea by themselves. Oh, just I'm just sitting under a tree. I'm just I'm I'm just writing ideas down. No, they went to Africa where there were millions of Africans who were taught that in the secret universities. Secret meaning they didn't show outsiders normally. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Everything that you touch, everything, towels, lights, everything, beds, bedspreads, closet doors, houses, everything that you. There's a black guy who invented train stuff, and everything on the train that you could even think of, he invented. From the lights to the changing lanes, everything. It was all invented by one black guy, and he just the same thing in the kitchen. There was a one black guy, and he invented everything you could think of in the kitchen. So this is what you're supposed to be learning in Black History. Let's get to the levels of independence of a man. So I'm making a matrix references. So the very first level isn't a level at all. It is the non-level of independence. So we have to have some sort of standard or some sort of basis of what to compare it to. So this is the blue pill level. If you recall in the Matrix, he said, "Take the blue pill. You stay in the dream. You don't realize anything. Nothing changes. You believe in love. You believe in marriage. You stay asleep, and you just do not. And even if somebody came up and shook you and told you to wake up, you would believe it. Now, from my perspective, I grew up very rich. I had servants, maids, any type of servant that you could think of, guards, bodyguards, anything that you could think of. That's what I had. My mother went off the deep end and said she discovered God, and she thinks that throwing all of that away would make her holy and send her to the promised land. Uh, my family now says that secretly she regrets that, but she won't say that to me. She keeps talking about this and that and the other. So, from my perspective, a lot of stuff that a lot of people believe in today, because they are of the lower classes, has been put upon them by the upper classes to keep them in check. So, this idea that you should marry for love is one of those things. Why am I saying that? For instance, if you marry for love, that might be translated into infatuation or simple lust, when in fact you don't actually quote unquote love the person. It's just something that you fleetingly believe at the moment, and when that infatuation passes, then the love is gone, and then you're stuck with this person that you married, and then all sorts of stuff go wrong, right? Versus in the upper classes, a lot of times you get married for a reason, and sometimes the reason has nothing to do with you and her. Sometimes the reason is that this family wants to get in good with this family, and then they could, and literally because of marriage, form a partnership, and then they can have more trust because they are tied through a bond of blood because of the marriage of their children, right? And that still goes on today. That has not changed. I know you think that sounds old fashioned, but that still goes on today. That has not changed. And this is what the movers and shakers do a lot of times. This is why Hollywood has kids who don't have their name because they want to hide the fact that they, in fact, are just nothing but what do you call it? Not gentrification. Oh, what is the word? Tell me what the word is in the chat. Next, The next level is somebody who sort of wakes up, but they're stuck in a bad marriage, but they're scared to leave because the law is against him. So he finally realizes, oh, this is going on. I want to get a divorce, but I'm stuck in this marriage because if I get divorced, she's going to just completely destroy everything, the entire legacy, children, everything. Even in a good marriage, it's still problematic because the liability that she could wake up herself and say, hey, you know what, I'm tired of being a wife, I'm tired of being a mother, I'm tired of doing and do not say nobody would say they're tired of being a mother. There's all sorts of women who leave, all sorts. Just because it's not reported on the news doesn't. Because of the person that I am, I get everybody who tells me everything about everybody, and I've heard every possible story of the woman leaving when they were babies to a man who works 60 hours a week, and she ups and leaves, or even worse, ups and leaves, uh, and saying that and he doesn't have a job. She ups and leaves, and he doesn't have a job, and leaves the children with him because she woke up and realized that she didn't want to be married, and so she left the family. And so then when he, hopped onto it and did his duty to be responsible for he and the kids, created a household and bought cars and worked everything out, and the kids are going to a great school. Then she comes back and takes everything because technically they never divorced, right? Uh, then the next level is never married or divorced. The same boat, who realizes that the matrix exists. So this is a person who has woken up and realizes that the matrix exists and realizes, hey, I better make sure that I don't get caught up in any liable type of situation, that I don't have any potential to be caught up into this matrix fiasco. Uh, they understand that men are seen as worker bees or military, and only really the upper class men build giant companies, build buildings, build bridges, and other. They the upper classes are the ones who go to the college, and I'm talking about with real degrees that really does stuff like engineers and stuff like that, and the rest of us pay for. You might not realize this, but the rest of us, the poor people, actually pay for the upper classes to go to school. This is where they get all of their stuff, and then you have stuff like Obama administration saying he's going to excuse college debt. Well, let me ask you something. Let's say you have been in the lower income levels for your entire life. Your parents were in the lower income levels their entire life. So when has somebody stepped up to you and said, you know what? Well, we're sorry this has happened. Here's $120,000 written off of all of your expenses. Huh? I'm talking about you waking up and realizing what is going on and how deep the rabbit hole really is. That poor people are funding the middle and upper middle class kids to go to college, and then you have people like Obama come along and says, I will excuse your college debt. That means all of those poor people who have nothing even like that on their books have to pay the taxes. Obama doesn't have money. The government doesn't have money. Where do they get it from? They take it from the people. So the poorer classes are paying the taxes that fund the middle and upper middle class to go to college, and these are the people who need those loans, college loans, should be excused. And this is all a part of the mix. How independent are you? Um, and let me say finally, almost every genius in this topic, in this category, almost every genius has woken up at the end of his life and said, "You know what? I regret everything that I've done with women. I've regret everything that I've done." Any name a genius, they've already. What was Linus Pauling, Albert Einstein, Tesla? All of them have woken at the end, or you can find quotes of them saying, "I regret everything that I've done with women. Everything is," and that whole thing has been just horrible. Okay, let's see. We have the gamer. Now the gamer isn't he's aware, but he's not quite aware, right? So the never married and divorced have woken up. They know it exists. There is knowing what exists and then going about doing what are you going to do about existence. The gamer fulfills his needs with women, but keeps going. So he's not free from any sort of liability with a woman, but he's very close to being free. Now, now there is people who are varying levels of gamer. These are people, they might have a girlfriend, uh, realizing that the Matrix exists isn't the same thing as doing something about it. They might have a girlfriend, and the varying levels of their wokeness, to not coin a phrase, but to borrow a phrase from the certain people. Uh, they might live with a girl, and that has all presents all sorts of problems, to the point where there was a girlfriend who sued a guy for half of his stuff. She's not never engaged, never no proposals, nothing. Sued and won. Sued a girlfriend. So just because you're a gamer does not mean that you are free from the liability, the potential danger that it poses. Uh, then we have the fully red pill man. He is fully aware that the Matrix exists. They have had a vasectomy or something like that, and they only deal with women on a need-to-know basis, or on a useful basis, that a woman is used for only one thing. They understand the dangers that women actually pose. And for those women who are not aware of laws and family court and all that sort of stuff, when I say that, I mean exactly that. That women have a potential to be catastrophic to men. Period. There is almost nothing, no sort of potential that a man could be catastrophic to a woman outside of criminality. So we're talking about no crime has been committed. A woman poses a potential of being disastrous to a man under the law. So if so you understand. So the red pill guy is fully aware of all the potentials. They don't deal with women. They have had a vasectomy. There's not a potential of anything that they could say anything. They can't be taken into court, hauled into court, and to sit. Now that potential still exists, because women can, under the law, falsely claim all sorts of stuff. But the red pill guy is fully aware of all the potential. Finally, we have the most independent level, and that is the ghost. This is They might live off grid completely. They might be completely rich. They've made their money. They have no credit. They simply have investments and stuff like that. You or they might have a stash of gold bars, silver bars, platinum coins, and stuff like that. And they do not deal with women at all. They understand the matrix and the full potential of the dangers and liabilities that it poses. Uh, these men vary in education levels, vary in income levels, and a lot of times, of course, they might not even have an income whatsoever. They have made their money. They have built their house. Either it's a tiny house or it might be a fantastic mansion. They might live on grid or they might live completely off grid. But the thing is that they are ghosted. They don't exist really on records. And people might deal with people. They might still be in society, but people have no way of tracking down who they are. They don't even know their name. They might see them every day and have no idea who they are. No, don't know their name. They don't show up on any records. They have no children to speak of. And then some of you might say, "Oh, well, that's a lonely existence." It doesn't have to be a lonely existence. They could, be Casanova as much as the next guy. It is simply that they have ghosted the society and they have really gotten out of the matrix. They're full. They've taken the red pill and escaped the matrix completely. It's called ghosting. Thank you all for watching. What level of independence are you? Leave a like, leave a comment. Thank you all for watching.